Hello everyone, this is your 5 and welcome to the Global My Central Toy Review. And today's toy review, we're looking at the 2010 release by Hasbro of the Marvel Universe action figure review. And today's action figure review, we're looking at series number 2, action figure number 20, Wrecker. Now I got in this straight from a local toy shop near my area for 35 ringgit, and that's the price tag there. I'm actually saving up 5 ringgit there, which is a good deal. Now, let's take a look at the front part of the packaging itself. You got a nice little artwork of the Wrecker himself, which he hasn't shaved for a few days there, or maybe a week. Very nicely done, really detailed stuff. Now, the name for Wrecker is kind of weird. I'm not too sure why Hasbro decided to put the word Marvel's Wrecker, seeing that the rest of the Marvel Universe figures don't even have the word Marvel's something. Like Marvel's Iron Man, Marvel's Captain America, but they have to put Marvel's Wrecker. Not too sure why they do that. At the background then, there's a light green background, followed by dark green, and then goes to blank. And the bottom part here includes classified file with secret code, which is at the back there, the top secret file card. Which you have the codes, but by the time you get the codes, you won't be able to use the codes because they discontinue filling up the secret code thing. Here we have a logo of the Hammer logo himself from Norman Osborn's Hammer organization, and there you got the nice little figure inside the plastic bubble holding the crowbar, and behind the figure itself that's the base stand. And that's about all the accessories there. Let's take a look at the back of the packaging. Got a nice little image of the Wrecker with holding the crowbar, and a bio, a really long bio of the character The Garthwaite. Is that how you pronounce the last part of the name? Well, anyways, stated on how he managed to obtain his powers and challenging the mighty Thor. Here you got the rest of the toy lineup. You got the Winter Soldier, Iron Patriot, Mary Jane Watson. At the bottom, Norman Osborn there holding the Goblin mask saying become an agent of Hammer at purifhouse.com. So, without further ado, I already babbled long enough. Let's open up this packaging so we can molest the toy. Be right back. And we're back after removing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from packaging. Now, inside the packaging, it comes with a top secret file card that contains the secret codes for you to enter at purifhouse.com, which the codes don't work anymore. Next, we got a nice little artwork of the Wrecker, and the background is a whirling pool of water. And both sides of the feet there, you'll notice surrounded by cracks. He managed to crack a whirling pool of water, which is kind of funny if you look at it that way. On the other side of the card, you got the Superhuman Registrator Act. Here you got a logo of the Hammer, and here you got an avatar image of the Wrecker, which is not based on the recent artwork, rather than, well, they use 80s and 90s artwork, which is kind of interesting. On the bottom part here, you got a thumbprint. Here, his real name is called The Garthwaite. Code name Wrecker. Hair brown, eyes blue. Height 6'3", weight 320 pounds, sex male. Powers. Having been transformed by Asgardian magic, the Wrecker originally possessed power that made him the equivalent of an Asgardian god. The Wrecker carries a 4-foot-long steel crowbar that was also affected by Asgardian magical enchantment, becoming virtually indestructible. Wrecker is also a brutish street brawler. At the bottom, enhanced human. And that's about it. Next, we have an email from Dr. Calban to Warden Leah Shawn from the RAF. Now, it stated that he tried to analyze the character Wrecker there and tried to give him some psych treatment, but realizing that the Wrecker knows what he is and actually has no psychotic episodes or whatsoever. He just basically knows what he is, and he has no remorse on doing what he is doing. So there's no treatment for him, and that's about it. Now let's take a look at the base stand. You got a nice little base stand with 2 pegs for the figure to stand on, and at the bottom of the feet there's 2 holes there. Now you got a nice little word Marvel molded on top of the base stand itself, and on the bottom the word Wrecker is imprinted onto the base stand. Here you got 020 imprinted onto the base stand. Very nicely done. Next, we'll take a look at the Wrecker's accessory, the crowbar. Now, the crowbar is actually a very long piece of weapon, and I really like the paint job because it looked like it's very wetted down. Nice little paint job there, and nice little sculpt as well. Looks like a normal crowbar. However, if you want the figure to hold the crowbar, he cannot hold it flat like so. You have to hold it on the side so it'll hold it properly. Next, we'll take a look at the figure's paint job. Now, the paint job is actually quite simplistic but really nicely done. I really like it. The entire uniform is in green, but there are some parts are in purple, like the mask itself, the belt, the gloves, and the boots. But there are some little details there, like the belt. The belt buckle is painted in silver, and so does the button. Now, the boots there, the straps are all in black, very nicely done. Bottom part of the boot's sole is also painted in black. Now, let's take a look at the face paint job. It's really nicely done. The eyes are painted in blue, very nice. You can see his lips are all painted in sort of lighter in red, very light red for the lips itself, and the individual teeth is also painted, very nicely done, quite detailed stuff. In the back of the figure, on the front, you notice there's also linings, or light green lines all over the edges itself, very nicely done. Now, the sculpt of the figure is absolutely very new and stands as tall as the rest of the Wrecking Crew figures, so it's very nicely done. I really love the new sculpt here, especially on the boots. The boots are really nicely done with the straps there, and the bottom of the boots, the soles, are actually sculpted, very nicely done, very detailed stuff. The belt and the buttons are all sculpted as well, uniform as well, very nicely done. But the best part is the face. The face is really great. He has this really angry, snarling face going on with his mouth being sculpted in that kind of fashion. It's really detailed stuff. You can see the teeth, very nice, and also the sculpted lips as well, very nicely done. Now, let's take a look at the figure's articulation. The head there is quite interesting. Same kind of head joint like the newer figures. It comes with a ball joint on a hinge, so the head can actually move up a little bit high, but it's hindered by the collar, of course. So the head can move up and look straight, but can't look down because also hindered by the collar. Head can also turn 360 degrees, very nicely done. Shoulder here turns 360 degrees and raise the arms this far only, which is kind of disappointing. Upper bicep here turns 360 degrees and the elbow bends this far and goes straight. The glove here turns 360 degrees. Now, the torso joint here can pivot downwards a little bit, back a little bit, and turn 360 degrees. Now, the hip joint is very nice. It moves forward, back a little bit, and go to the side, and has a swivel tie, very nice. Double jointed knee that bends this far. Has an ankle joint, but it cannot pivot downwards nor upwards because due to the sculpt of the boots itself. So I'm quite disappointed on that. Ankle can actually turn 360 degrees, and that's about it. Overall, I really like the figure. I just don't like the ankles because the ankle is really, it became a useless joint when you have a hinged ankle but you can't actually pivot it down or up. But I really like the extra swivel tie joint down. It's really nice, and the accessory is also a nice touch, especially when he can actually hold it with no problems. So if I'm gonna give a rating of this, I would say I'll give it a nice little 8 out of 10. Yes, 8 out of 10. I would have given it higher, but the problem is he has a useless articulation for the ankle that he can't pivot the ankle up and down. So 8 out of 10 for the Wrecker. I thank you all for watching. This is 05 and I'm signing off.